Welcome back to the old kitchen that we didn't even know was here. Welcome back to At Home with the Moons, where history is hidden round every corner. Whether it's from restoring antique teddy bears, heirlooms, mechanical clocks, even 19th century carriages, exploring the history of the land that surrounds our beautiful property and everything in between, there's something for everyone. But today, we're back in the former kitchen and we're just stripping back. We're taking off more modern techniques to reveal her true beauty. We're going to take you on that journey. So let's take a little step back in time and show you what we've been up to. So how did we go from a living room to a kitchen? Well, hidden underneath a piece of wood in the corner, which looked like a little seat, was this old stone sink. And that got us thinking, what else is there? And why was there such a huge fireplace? Let me show you. So here we are at the very grand fireplace. It's about 7 foot in width at the bottom. And it obviously tapers up as the chimney goes through the property, and that leads up to the other rooms above. So each room would have had its own little fireplace. And that was because 4 or 5 families lived here at any one time. It was a real hub of the community. So this would have been a very busy area with those pots and pans and everything on a very large open fire. But just to the back of here is another, just a monumental feat of engineering. It's a beautiful old bread oven and it's huge, even too big for 4 or 5 families. So that would have meant that people from the local communities would have come here to cook all sorts of stuff that they needed cooked. It was a real meeting place. And this is just another bit of the history that we have. And we're going to do a feature on the bread oven itself because it really deserves that. And there's still an old bread oven just up in the local village where in a few weeks they're going to fire her up and cook for the locals. But they did it nearly every day here, all year round. So in the old kitchen there were 2 types of wall. One is the stonework and the other is this red brick. I think you agree, it's pretty phenomenal. It's just such a statement and we want to keep it as a feature wall just to remind people of the history, the work that went into the house. And you can see I've just cleaned it off roughly in the shape of a moon, but I've got to get on and clear the rest of the wall. And it's a bit of a challenge. I've got all my respirator, I've got my goggles. I'm just going to have to get down and get dirty. And I think it's going to really ping afterwards. Let me take you over and show you the other wall. It's the next day and we're on to the next challenge, and that's in the form of, well, some of you might have seen in the previous episodes, we had some anomaly around the bottom. It looked like a very, very hard marbly type substance. We were unsure what it was, but on further investigation we realised that it was damaged. Some of it was cracked. We then later, with the help of, well, the unidentified person that's helping in the room, a good friend of mine, Simon, who's worked on many historical projects, so you're in for a treat next episode when I introduce him. He said actually the stuff which we were looking at was a mix, and it had granite chippings in it to make it extremely hard. It was so hard that you could actually work it into like a marbled finish. But where the old walls have moved and they'd made it a little bit damaged in places, and it's so hard it'd be almost impossible to add to it to repair it without it looking really bad. So we've taken the option of removing it completely, allowing the walls to breathe throughout. We're going to take out those joints and we're going to traditionally point it up, which Simon will explain to you in the next episode about. But the first job is get all the old stuff out, rake it through and let it dry and let this house breathe again. It's been a monumental amount of work, but I think it's really going to pay off. It started to expose those beautiful stones in their true glory, but not half as much as a feat of originally building something like this. Where did all this stone come from? Was it very local? Did they have to travel to get it? How many people were building a property like this? And then to get everything exactly where it needed to go and then get it all square and even. It's just amazing. There's always that deep respect for those bygone trades, for the people, the times past, from the woodwork to the masonry, everything in between. And I'm so fortunate to have a true master, Simon, on board, who's going to catch up and next episode going to say why and exactly what we're doing here with this internal wall, which is 2 or 3 feet deep. He's going to explain the technical stuff. And on that note, I'm going to say, stay magical, and we'll see you next time.